Hello and welcome back to the When You're podcast, the podcast for when you're doing anything. Today we're talking about when you're feeling sick. And I'm not talking about like in a skater boy, cool kind of way. I'm not even talking about like in a homesick kind of like skip a day of school kind of sick. I'm talking about like sick, like you actually skipping school because you're sick, not because you're faking it a little bit. You know what I mean? I'm talking about like actual like thermometers at like 102 degrees. You know what I'm talking about? Just like that, really sick. The one where it's like, it's not even fun to like lay in bed and do nothing. It's like just awful. It's just terrible. Yeah, that's how I'm feeling right now. I definitely have like just a regular cold. It's not even like that serious. Like if I'm pretty sure if I just kind of like just chill out and do nothing, it'll probably pass. But I'm telling you, dude, there's something about this, man, that is just terrible. I feel so sick. So when you're feeling sick like I am now, like earlier today, I was, you know how you feel there, you get instant moments of coldness, like you just get like a little like chill, you get like really chilly, and you just kind of like you get cold out of nowhere and you're freezing. And so what I've been doing most of the day is just trying to, well, part of the day, because I was trying to heat myself up with, like, I got like 1,000 blankets on my bed right now, just trying to like cover myself. So I start with like a thin, small blanket first, and then I cover myself with a bigger, larger blanket, and then I have like a few blankets like on top of that, you know what I'm saying? So just try to wrap yourself into a warm little burrito of sorts, so that way you can kind of just get warm, so that way the coldness doesn't take over you completely. But there are any number of things you can do. So I guess when you're feeling that cold, you know, probably get some blankets and try to sweat it out, I guess, or you know, try to get warm. But then there's also soup. Nice little chicken noodle soup. Get a little warmed up. And I definitely think that helps out a lot. I remember back when I was really going through it. You know when you're a kid and your body's not used to when you get really sick for the first time. Like I'm talking about like you can actually remember, like when you're a baby and you get like a little sick or a little cold, like you'll fight through it, you know what I mean? You probably won't remember it, and your antibodies will fight off anything, you know what I'm saying? You'll be fine. But I'm talking about like your earliest memories of like really being sick. Some people maybe get the chicken pox, or maybe some people like get the flu or whatnot, you know what I'm talking about? And just like you feel awful. Yeah, that one's rough. But right now, you know, because I'm a lot older, it doesn't, you know, really hit as hard. You know, I can still do stuff. I can still move. But it's just, you feel like a little foggy, if that makes sense. Like just a little fog going through your brain. So no amount of like soup or any kind of food can really help out. Even though I can still taste it, you know what I mean? I still have somewhat of an appetite. It just... it feels a bit off. So soup does help, don't get me wrong. It brings a warmness to your belly that is very much needed. So then after that doesn't work, I recommend and then I think about like, you know, how did people who got like the common cold, but I mean, obviously back in the day, if you got like the common cold, you probably died because they didn't have any like, or, you know how like white people brought over all of the disease, you know, the pilgrims or whatnot, you know, the English settlers coming over to the New World, and they spread disease and famine all across to the Native Americans. So it's just like, if you got the cold back then, you probably just died, you know what I'm saying? But like, once they got that thing kind of figured out, there wasn't, you know, a huge amount of electricity, you know what I mean? So I imagine if you got really chilly or really cold, you just sit by the fireplace. You know what I'm saying? You grab a blanket, you sit by the fireplace, you try to get warm. That was probably how they did it back in the day. Probably very nice, very what's it called? Uh, there's a very wilderness vibe to it. Imagine if you got sick while camping. Oh my goodness. I'm sure that's happened. I'm sure that's happened to plenty of people. You get sick and then there's nothing you can do about it. So, but other than that, I recommend taking a nice, if you're feeling really like cold and shivering, yeah, you take a nice warm shower. That'll definitely raise your body temperature up. And once you get started, you're not gonna want to leave. And then once you leave, you're gonna have to make like a beeline straight to your room or whatever or something just to get back to warmness, just to stay warm. So there's that. But oh my goodness, I'm so anyways, if you feel like I do right now, I feel like I'm on fire. I feel like I legit feel like I have a fever and I'm just so hot. And not like in a sexy way. And I'm talking about like just like I feel like my bones could set ablaze any second. Like, oh my goodness. My head is definitely in need of Elsa from Frozen? Yeah, I definitely want her to turn my whole room into a winter wonderland right now, just so that way I can get cold and chilly and so that way my body temperature will meet the snow and it'll just instantly cool me. That's kind of what I'm feeling right now. And earlier today I was so cold. I was literally shaking. I was shivering a bit. So, I guess my options are an ice pack, obviously. If I get an ice pack and I put it on my head overnight, or, I get some, I drink some ice cold water, I guess. I guess that could help. And the thing about water is, or just the ice pack is that first it has to melt. And then once it melts, I'm already too lazy to get up and go get more. I can't constantly go back and forth, get back and forth to get ice. You know what I'm saying? So it's like a never ending battle. And then after a while, you're just like, I just have water in a bag on me, and it doesn't even feel like it's doing anything anymore, and it just becomes a big hassle. But that's why probably drinking like some cold water. Like, that's why I always have like a water bottle or something in the fridge, so that way I can just like drink it right away, and that way it'll really bring down my temperature, and it also quenches my thirst a bit, and it helps get the cold out of my system. There's also a fan. If you have a fan like sitting on you 24/7, just kind of blowing in your face, trying to get the room cool. I guess that helps out a lot. But there are any other options, I guess. Obviously, if you have AC, you use AC. I'm just talking out loud here. The fan helps. Water definitely works. Get an ice pack. And above all else, what I was just feeling right now is you cover yourself up with blankets and you just got to sweat it out. You just got to sweat it all out. And it sucks. It sucks having to sweat this out. Because when you sweat this out, it's just never ending. I mean, you're hot, you feel dizzy, you're kind of just like, I want to get up, I want like cool breeze, but you know that even if you get that, even if you get like a cool breeze from like the fan, or like you drink some water and you try to cool your body down, it just doesn't help. It just doesn't work out, and you still feel sick. You still feel a bit like feverish, but you're just like now no longer getting any benefits, When you sweat it out, it kind of gets rid of some of the bad juju in your body. You know what I'm saying? Like this might sound a little gross, but like, you know how sometimes when you were a kid, you would throw it up, you would throw up, and you try to stop throwing up, but eventually you have to realize like, I just got to get this all out so that way I can be better again. And then you just constantly keep throwing up, throwing up, throwing up, and it feels like torture. Because then it's like all of the stuff that you just did is coming back to punch you in the face, and you wish it would stop, but it just doesn't. Yeah, that's kind of how it feels right now to like sweat it out. You just gotta let it go, and you gotta get all that bad stuff leave your body. And I'm telling you, dude, I'm looking forward to when this all ends. I don't want this anymore. I want this to go away. So, anyways, other than that, my other symptoms include my arms feel completely weak arms. Now, that could be just me being weak, but I definitely think that my cold has something to do with this. I think my fever has definitely, weakened my body a bit. It's not, it's through no fault of mine. You know what I'm saying? Like I go to the gym, I do my thing. So I know for a fact I'm not feeling at 100% strength. Let's just say that, all right? My arms feel weak and tired, and when I like try to make a fist, it's not as strong as I like remember it or I feel it to be. So I have like no energy. I did go to the gym today. I forced myself to go to the gym even though I was feeling terrible. I was like, you know what? Let me just go to the gym. Let me get like did I say gym? Oh my goodness. I meant gym. And let me just get like a quick sweat in, let me just sweat some stuff out. Maybe that'll help. And then I'll come home and then I'll shower. And so I did it. And I remember just feeling like my head was in a fog. Like it didn't feel like I was usually I get like in the groove, but then like today it just felt like totally like I did all the exercises, but I don't feel like I did anything at the same time, if that makes sense. I don't know what that is, but. And then when I got home, like I tried to pick some stuff up, and like I had to go shower, and I pick up the shampoo bottle, and random stuff just gets heavy. Like it's not even like a half full water bottle, but this thing was kind of like heavy to my arms. I was just like, why is this so randomly? Like why do I feel like this is a lot heavier than I remember it? And it's just because my arms are so weak. They feel so tired. And I honestly couldn't tell you why that happens, and like I was saying, when I ball my fist up, when I try to make like a fist to like, I try to imaginary punch things, it just like all of a sudden it just doesn't feel right. It just feels like so much weaker than what I'm used to. When I'm maybe used to feeling in my hands, it just feels like the muscles just don't work. It feels completely. I can't explain it. It's like even with all of my strength being used, it feels like a piece of it just like is telling me to give up. It's like telling me like, stop it. You're not gonna gain full strength. Your grip strength is not there. Your body's telling you to slow down and just stop. And you have to respect that. You have to leave it alone. But for some reason, all of a sudden, it's just unbearably weak, and I just wish I could. I don't know why that feeling comes. It's kind of funny. It's kind of weird, but at the same time, if you don't feel good, then of course your body's going to tell you, and your body's going to be like, "Listen, you idiot. Stop trying to punch random things, or stop trying to make a fist or flex your muscles or try to like do stuff that you're not supposed to do right now. Your body's supposed to be in rest mode so that way you can recover quickly." And that's probably what my body's telling me. And like I said, I went to go exercise. I went to the gym. It just didn't connect. It just wasn't like I felt my body doing it, but it just didn't feel like my body was gaining the experience, if that makes sense. It's kind of like It would be like if you played a video game of some sort, right? And then like you have to save it after a certain point or whatever, you know, or something like that. But there's no, um, but you don't. So like, let's say like you get to a checkpoint and then you decide to save it, right? So you spend like hours and hours and hours and hours playing, and then you finally get to the checkpoint, and then you forget to save it, and you turn off your console, or you turn off your game. Then it's like you did all of the experience. You played the whole game, but now you don't have any of it saved. Like none of it counts now, and you have to do it all over again. That's kind of how I felt today when I was exercising. Like I did the exercises, but it didn't feel like I gained the experience. It didn't feel like I gained the full thing. It just feels like I did it, and then I didn't really feel it. Even though I did sweat, but it just didn't feel right. And I also feel really drowsy. That's another one. That's kind of a. I feel like really sleepy and lightheaded, and like my brain is just full of fog. And the thing about fog is just that like when my brain gets foggy, I just can't. I don't know what it is. I just feel kind of loopy. I just kind of feel like, oh my goodness, what's gonna happen next? What am I doing right now? How can I escape any process to kind of like stop thinking? And that's kind of why I don't like to drive right now, because then my brain has to kind of like think ahead or like process things faster, even though I don't want to, but I have to if I'm going to be on the road. And that's where things get a little bit difficult. My eyes feel super heavy. My eyes are open, but they want to be closed. And that's just so cruel. I don't know why my body does that. It's like my eyes want to close, but then all of a sudden they just like stay open, and then they just have like this heavy feel to it. It's not fun. It's not good. I hate it so much. It makes me feel like just go to sleep. Like I wish it was a magic just wish that there was this magic potion or something, or like somebody just comes and punch me in the face so that way I can like knock out, you know what I'm saying, like in an instant. But because I don't do any of that, it hardly ever happens, which sucks, because you want to sleep is wanted. All right, sleep is the number one wanted thing, and for some reason my eyes want to be open and think about stuff. And it just becomes a big hassle. It just becomes so terrible. I hate it to no end. The way that my body feels when it's like you need to rest, but then for some reason my eyes just stay awake. My mind just keeps wandering, and even though it's foggy and it has nothing to think about, it just keeps on going. It's really a problem. And I felt totally sluggish all day. I just couldn't get in the groove. There's certain times in your life where you kind of get like a routine going, or you kind of understand like, all right, this is how I'm feeling. This is what I'm going to do for the rest of the day. For me, today and like for the past few days, it just kind of feels like none of the things that I want to do, or the ways that I feel, I'm feeling. It just feels like I'm all over the place, or like I'm not even really experiencing things like I'm supposed to. Like I couldn't sleep at all last night, but then when I woke up really early, like I didn't go to sleep until late, like so late that it's technically early. And then I woke up like a few hours later when I shouldn't have. I should have stayed asleep, but then I got up, I got some water to like cool myself down with, and then I went back to sleep, and then I woke up again, sleep, and then it was just a constant nightmare. I just felt awful all night long. And then I obviously went to the gym, and then I came back, I showered, and then I just tried to let my body rest all day today. And it just feels too much. And even walking, when you're feeling drowsy, it just feels like you stumble and you're about to trip, you're about to fall over, but you just keep on trying to move at least. and then it doesn't even feel like it feels like there's only your feet, and there's no, like, you don't have any like shins or knees or legs. You have no thighs, no calves. It's just feet, and then the rest of your body goes with it. That's how it feels. It's just so weird, so random. And then me right now, I have a dry throat. Dry throat. And it doesn't help now because I'm talking and I'm doing this podcast. And I'm trying to drink some water like this. But I have a bit of a dry throat. And I gotta say, dude, it's not fun. It's not good. Because I tried singing today. Oh my goodness, big mistake. And it wasn't even like a crazy song. It was just like a little lullaby or whatever. Like something soft, something. Yeah, I'm talking about like maybe just the chorus. I'm not talking about like a full on song. But like even then, my voice just couldn't take it. My throat was just like so dry. And no matter how much water I drink or how much I try to like how much I try to like tone it down or like stop it, it just doesn't go away. It just feels like it's constant. It feels like sand is just lodged in there. It's just so dry. It's not good. So I'm thinking about getting some hot tea. Some tea might do the job. It might really help me out in this pinch. It might be able to revitalize my symptoms. You know, it helped me get through whatever I'm going through. And tea is actually helps a lot of times in moments like this. I'm not going to say I'm like a huge tea drinker person, but like whenever I do drink tea, it's usually to help in my quest of not dying, of trying to heal my body in some way, shape, or form. And it's so interesting. I wasn't really watching a documentary. It's not even really a documentary. It's more of like a TED Talk speech about this company called Honest Tea. And the guy was talking about how he went to, I don't know if it was India or some random place, but he said that like to get high quality tea costs like 5 cents. And that was so mind boggling to me because people sell tea at crazy prices here. And their drinks aren't particularly cheap. And not only that, he was just talking about how he could deliver high quality tea in the best way possible. And then unfortunately, Honest Tea kind of went under, or they were bought out by Coca-Cola, but then Coca-Cola kind of like threw them away or like got rid of them. And now they just made like a new tea company doing the same thing that they've been doing, but it's kind of like a rebrand sort of deal. So I kind of forget what that company is called now, but it was originally called Honest Tea. It's HONESTTEA, Honest Tea. Yeah, something like that. So for some reason I thought about that while I was thinking about tea. And just drinking more water, drinking lots and lots of water helps out a lot. So that way you can get all the fluids flushed out of you, you know. Oh my goodness. And then my favorite drink when I'm feeling, I mean, obviously water and tea are helpful, but the other best drink to have is Pedialyte or Electrolyte. Those things are fire. Those things are amazing. They help out a lot. They taste great. And they just replenish you full of the electrolytes that you maybe like sweat out or you know, you need, you know, those things that those necessary things that you have to have. And I'm not even saying that like it's necessarily something you have to drink. Like it's not for everybody. You know, some people just enjoy drinking tea and drinking water, or maybe like having a nice when there's like another drink I'm trying to think of. Ah, my goodness, I can't think of it. But there's like another drink that you can have. But Pedialyte always works for me. It's like a little kid's drink, like a baby drink, but it's so necessary. You absolutely need it. So I drink that a lot. And then obviously ice. If you just have like a thing of ice, that'll help keep your mouth from going dry or your throat from going dry, because then you just constantly drinking water and it brings down the temperature, especially when you're feeling hot like I do now. But because I'm on this podcast, I can't chew ice or like have ice in my mouth and talk to you guys. And then I have this mild cough. I'm not going to say it's like a full-on cough. It's just a mild cough. Comes and goes every now and then. I could force it out, but I don't want to because it'll just mess up my throat because it's already dry. So definitely don't want to do that. Anyways, cough drops help in those scenarios. Just having something to kind of concentrate on not coughing or breathing through the mouth, I guess. Because that's what ends up happening most times, is that like your nose gets all congested like mine is now. Like I'm sure you've heard me sniffle a few times. Oh my goodness, it sucks. But you get some cough drops and you just keep on trying to hold in or try to stop yourself from coughing so often and so frequently. And in a lot of cases, it really does work. I usually go with like Ricola or Halls. Halls, it's really, it's the best of both worlds. It's like candy, except it's not. It's supposed to help you out. And then the one that tastes the worst are probably the best ones for you. And the best ones for you are the Vicks cough drops. There's something in those things that are just like, there's definitely something in there that just gets rid of all of your problems, but they taste the worst. But you get used to it. You get used to it after a while. Obviously, you can just drink more water. I know that like when I go through big cough spells, and the kind of cough that like you can't stop. Like there are a few coughs where like you cough like maybe once or twice, and you're like, all right, I'm good for a little bit. Then there's those other coughs where you're just constantly coughing, and there's no way you can drink any water. Like you can have like a gasp for breath. You're just constantly coughing, and I don't feel like that. I can definitely have a glass or a bottle of water. It's just very, I can't over drink water, but then I can't, I need the water. So if there's one thing about being sick, when you're feeling sick, it's drink plenty of water. Just keep on drinking water, okay? It helps in so many cases. You also have to keep your mouth closed. Try to breathe through your nose as best as you can. Right now it's a little difficult because my nose is all congested and filled with mucus and whatnot, which is so gross. But I have no choice, bro. I gotta do what I gotta do to survive here. So, and sometimes you get so congested that you start becoming a mouth breather, and then that mouth breathing messes up your mouth and it dries out your throat. And that's probably what happened to me, is that like I subconsciously couldn't breathe through my nose anymore, so then I breathe through my mouth, and then I wake up, and that's why I have like a sore throat or a dry throat, and my mouth is all, I got cotton mouth and whatnot. Oh, it's the worst. And then when all else fails, when I have a cough, I get some honey and some lemon, and I mix the two together, and then I take like a spoonful of that, and then I eat that, which maybe isn't the best thing, but it helps in some cases. It definitely helps me out from time to time, and it pushes me to do more, pushes me to stick it out, I guess, a little bit further. It'll at least temporarily, help me out. Honey honey is such a sweet and amazing thing, and beekeepers are really or the people who take care of bees or like who harvest honey are definitely really smart people. They have to understand the hive. They have to understand the process of like helping bees out. And then you see those videos of people like taking care of bees, and then they're holding on to bees barehanded, and I'm just like, what in the world is going on here? It's just so weird. I never would have thought about that. I never would have done that. And then there's somebody out there who has like a mad honey, or what's it called? I think that's what it's called. There's somebody talking about it. It was like mad honey. It was like the psychedelic honey or whatnot. And I'm not saying that like I wouldn't try it. I'm just saying that like if it's out there, I just want to know how it's made. I just want to know like what's the process of it, you know? But anyways, on top of all of those things, I also got a runny nose. So one of my nostrils is kind of dry, and the other one, and that one I can like semi breathe through, and then the other one is running like crazy. It just will not stop, and it's so annoying, and it gives me the sniffles, and I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. So, isn't that the worst thing when it's just like you wish everything, if nothing else, your nose is supposed to help you out, but it's giving you more trouble than you know what to do with. So one nostril is dry, and that's kind of like, okay. But because it's dry, whenever you breathe in air from it, it kind of feels like a little bit like, I can't explain it. It just straight up dry. It's just wind coming in and out of your nose, and it just like it makes everything else more miserable in some weird twisted way. And then the other one, you try to breathe, but it makes it impossible. So now you're just like sniffling up all of the bad stuff, and you're just kind of like, oh my goodness. And it's constantly like running and running and running, and you're just like, it's the worst. It's no fun. You ever have that feeling? Do you ever have that moment in school? Because this would happen to me a lot. I would have to take a test at school, and like one of my nose would be running, and I would like sniff a lot. And normally I would just get up and I would have to blow my nose, but I'm in the middle of the test. And in the middle of the test, like I want to finish so that way I can like stop having to look down so much. But then obviously because I'm like sniffling all the time, like I'm trying to stop the runny nose, I have to go up and blow my nose out. But when I have to go up and blow my nose, I kind of feel embarrassed that like everybody's going to hear me blow all the boogies out of my mouth, and it's just out of my nose, my fault. Out of my nose, and it just like it's very disgusting and gross. And I don't want to do that. So I just find it easier to like sniffle like every 10 seconds while I'm taking the test. And it's quiet. And I remember that feeling so vividly. And I'm feeling it now while I'm making this podcast. And I'm sorry. I'm really sorry if it's gross. I hate it. Sometimes there's like no tissues available. Like I have tissues here, but like when you went to school, they didn't always have like tissues at hand. So you would have to go to the bathroom. You'd have to use like the napkins or whatever it's called, the paper towels, or you would have to use toilet paper. And it always bothered me. Just because like I never went to the bathroom during school, but like if I needed to, I would have to run over there and blow my nose, or like try to get all the liquid from out of, all of the running mucus in my nose to stop it, and kind of just temporarily ease the, I don't want to say the pain. What am I talking about? Not the pain. Just stop the leaking, at least. And obviously because I have a runny nose and I don't want, and it's hard for me to breathe out of one nose and not out the other. It makes me mouth breathe, and which turn it makes my throat dry, and when my throat's dry, it makes me want to cough, and when I cough, it's just terrible. It's just like that dry cough, and it's just like it's kind of like you know what I mean? It's just kind of like it's the worst. The worst cough ever is a dry cough. It's a nightmare. And then obviously the sniffles, man. Like that. So disgusting. So not good for you. It's the worst feeling in the world. It just it doesn't help anybody in it, and it gets you in a terrible mood. So the best thing for this is what I find is Vicks Vapor Rub. Shout out to Vicks Vapor Rub, guys. This thing is I mean, it's the ultimate cure for anything. It'll get you through everything in your life. It'll get you through heartbreak. It'll get you through broken bones. It'll get you through infections. I mean, Vicks Vapor Rub is without a doubt the number one tool to help with anything. It'll just get rid of all of the problems in your life. It'll open up your nose to like breathe more. It'll open up your chest. It'll open up your lungs. It'll just get you ready to fight the world. It's the ultimate cure. So I recommend Vicks Vapor Rub. It'll definitely help you out. And when it helps you out, you can fight the good fight. And then other than that, all that's left to do is really just lay down and do nothing. You have to lay down and do nothing. You just gotta sweat it out or just let your body rest. That's all you can do at this point. There's no point in trying to... I mean, obviously, if you have things to do, then, God bless you, and I wish you the best of luck, especially in this state of mind. I mean, I can definitely do stuff, don't get me wrong. I can function, it's just like my brain is foggy, and I won't be at 100%, and I'll probably be a little slow on certain things, but and I'll be mentally exhausted. It won't benefit me, but if I have to do it, I'll do it. You know what I'm saying? And so if you're in the same position, hey, I feel you, and I believe in you. You can do the best you can. But when you get the chance, you just got to lay down and rest. You just got to rest, and take it easy, because there's nothing else you can do. And then I also recommend, if you have the sniffles, blow your nose, which is what I'm going to try to do, I guess, after this, just so that way I can get it all out of my system, or at least try to. There is no fully getting it out of my system. It's only just like temporarily having it, or like getting rid of it for a moment. Because like, you ever blow your nose and you're just like, oh my goodness, all my problems are solved. Like, that never happens. You never blow your nose once and then it's just like, yes, the day is over. My life is complete. I beat the sickness. It's like, no. There's still... You're going to have to blow your nose like 10, 20 more times. And it never ends. It's a never-ending cycle. And then I guess your final option is just to kind of let your nose run. You just have to let the sniffles go. You just got to let it leak out, I guess. You could just stuff like tissue up your nose and just like have your one free nostril breathe, so that way you don't have to like subconsciously try to breathe through your mouth. You can just like close it up, breathe through one nostril, and hopefully that'll be enough to survive. But other than that, at the end of the day, when you're feeling sick, if you're cold and you're shivering and you're feeling a little under the weather, get some blankets, warm up, drink some hot soup, lay by the fire, depending on what time of the year it is, And take a warm shower, hot shower, try to get your body temperature back up. If you're feeling hot like me, get an ice pack, drink some water, get a fan on you, and try to sweat it out. You gotta sweat it out. That's probably the best thing that you can do, just to truly get it all out. And then you feel like a little weak, just don't fight it, and just accept that your body's going to be a little bit weak right now, all right? You're not going to be able to lift a car right now, but, maybe in the future. When you're drowsy and you're feeling really tired and sleepy, just give into it. You got to give into it. You got to go to sleep, okay? Don't try to fight it. Dry throat, drink some tea, drink some water, get some Pedialyte, get some ice. If you're coughing, get some cough drops, some more water, and try not to breathe through your mouth as often. If you got a runny nose, blow your nose, and if you have the sniffles, just let it leak out, or just try to patch it up, or blow your nose, or do whatever you can to survive, all right? So, I'm going to get out of here. Dude, I don't even know how I did this podcast. I'm feeling so lightheaded. I don't even know what I talked about most of the time, but anyways, thank you guys so much for listening. Feel better if you're feeling sick, and I'll talk to you guys on next time. Thank you.